welcome to the solar system series known as Taurus, where we talk about the sign Taurus. Now this is going to be focused on Sun in Taurus, but before we talk about Taurus, we got to talk about the Sun. So the Sun is your expression. It's what you consciously see from the world. It's also, a vehicle that you can use that's focused on your attention and other people's attention. So, for example, you ever heard someone say, "Let me shine some light on this situation," or "shed some light on this situation"? Basically what they're doing is they're focusing their attention on this situation, but they also want you to focus your attention on that situation they're focusing on. See what I'm saying? But that's the Sun. So let's talk about Taurus. Taurus came from this space in the sky known as the second house. The second house has to do with, values, value systems, material wealth, the things you have and the seeds you plant. Taurus can be master manifestors and master builders. But let's talk about the places Taurus likes to be in. Taurus is ruled by Earth, this planet right here. I got some pretty comfy. And Venus. It's co-ruled by Venus. So Earth is the planet of growth, structure, nurturing. You can kind of think of this as like throwing a seed on the ground. You take care of it, you grow it, and eventually get some fruit. Now Venus is the planet of love, appreciation, values, and basically how you relate to others. Now Taurus is high spot. Taurus is exalted in the moon. The moon loves to be in Taurus because Taurus likes to be in stable situations. The moon rules your reactions, your emotional state, your comfortability. It is the astrological body that reacts to the light that you see from the world. So everything gets taken in and filtered through your moon sign, and then that gets filtered through the rest of your placements. So the moon loves to be in Taurus because Taurus likes creating stable situations. Taurus likes to have options laid out in front of it and then react on which one benefits it the most. Now, this is where Taurus does not like to be. Taurus does not like to be in Mars and Pluto. Mars is the planet of passions, willpower, motivation, aggression. It's basically the planet or the feeling that kind of gets you up and going to act on something. Where the Sun is the vehicle you act, where you express yourself with. Now, Taurus is also way in Pluto. Pluto is the planet of, power and control issues. But it's an outer planet, so it doesn't really have that much of an influence. So it kind of uses other planets to get, its job done. So you can kind of think of Pluto as a Sophie's choice, right? Where you have some sort of idea, thought, concept, or feeling that you've been focusing on for so much. Pluto's going to come in and make you make a decision on that. But it's not going to do it right away. It'll basically just wear you down until you're feeling so bad about something or so exhausted about having to deal with something that you don't really want to deal with. And it's just going to make you deal with it in some way. And that could bring death to that situation or bring death to some other situation to bring life for that situation to bloom. Now let's talk about the planet that Taurus doesn't really like to be in at all, Uranus. Uranus is the planet of uniqueness, originality, rebellion, and change itself. Now, not to say that Taurus can't change, it just doesn't like to change the way Uranus does. When you think of a change brought to you by Uranus, you can think of it like, Will Ferrell and Wedding Crashers. They just keep popping up, and you have no idea where they're going or where they're coming from. They'll end up changing everything so much that you'll be just left looking around like, where was I in the first place? You'll have no idea. That's a Uranus kind of situation. And Taurus doesn't really vibe with that. If we take a look at Taurus's high spots, being in Earth, Venus, and the Moon, it likes to have everything laid out in front of it. It likes to create value systems. It likes to react to things. It likes to slow down, check all of its boxes, and then change. The bull, if you think about it, when it's running real fast right at you, it has to slow down before it changes. This is the change that Taurus likes. It does not like random, spontaneous change that Uranus brings. Alright, so let's talk about the traits of Sun and Taurus. So first things first, Taurus is element and modality. Taurus is fixed Earth, being fixated on its own way of thinking and practicality. Now, fun fact about the fixed signs is that they can become more self-actualized a lot faster. And this is because they're very fixated on their own way of doing whatever that is. This can be thinking, practicality, adding emotion to a thing, their own perspective, but whatever it is, they're fixated on their own way of going about it. Now let's talk about where Taurus came from real quick, because this is pretty important. Taurus came from the section of the sky known as the second house. This house has to deal with values, value systems, the things you have, material wealth, and the seeds you plant. Now, what does Taurus find value in? We can find this by looking at where Taurus likes to be astrologically. It likes to be in Earth, Venus, and the Moon. So we know that Taurus finds value in structure, growth, nurturing. It likes to be stable, comfortable, and react to things. So if Taurus finds a bunch of options laid out in front of it, it loves that. It can just sit, relax, and choose. All right, so now what has material wealth down in this realm? Well, this is, cars, houses, stable jobs, money, things like that. So a Taurus can often be kind of materialistic, because if this realm has value in those material things, then a Taurus will also find value in that, as long as it's practical. If something is practical toward Taurus, it's on board right away. If it doesn't make sense, if things are hopping around too much and not stable, a Taurus does not care. But the minute it has stability and practicality, it's hopping on. So another way that a Taurus can seem sort of materialistic is in kind of a Venus aspect of love and appreciation. They understand feelings, but the way that they show feelings and show you how they care is with something material. Now this can be a gift or taking you out to dinner, a romantic evening, vacation, something like that. They show love and appreciation with material things. Now let's talk about Taurus's practicality. Tauruses love list. They love direction. They love to apply what they have. Now you can kind of think of this as like a board meeting situation. Or, you have a project that's just starting up. They're going to add the direction. Who's on the team? What do I need to have? What do I need to present for them to know what I want and then to go? And then the basic details will be figured out later. But Taurus just wants to get the ball rolling. Now, from a practical sense, if a Taurus is, say a car broke down, right? And they need to borrow your car, they might, if they value, then they're going to care that they might be an inconvenience to you. But if they don't really value that much, then they're just going to try to get your car and not really care about the inconvenience that it causes to you. Now, you can kind of see this also play out with friendships. If a Taurus has, say, an air sign that is a friend, if they're going to be bouncing around and spewing a lot of nonsense, and even if it isn't nonsense, the Taurus doesn't really like the bouncing around aspect without any, structure and stability. It might just be like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but not actually be paying attention to what you're saying. This can kind of take places where, like an Aries situation, where an Aries might just be bouncing around, expressing itself in the way that it wants, or a Gemini situation where it's just, talking your ear off. It's going to look at both of those signs and be like, where's your stability? Where is your structure? How do you guys move about in the world? It just might not make sense to a Taurus. So let's talk about some of the things that a Taurus sun isn't going to like. And that is getting too much water splashed at it. And when I say water, I mean emotions and feelings, like a water sign. So if something terrible happened to a friend, a Taurus is definitely going to sit down and try to console them. But if that sign is splashing too much water and just ignoring all the direction or advice that Taurus is giving, their earth is going to be turned to mud, and they're going to have no stable ground to stand on, and they're going to have no idea what to do. Now, this can sort of play out with the fire sign as well. So fire signs, talking about their idea, their perspective, their vision. If they don't have any practical steps or any direction to that vision and how they're going to get there and how they're going to see this, fulfilled, a Taurus sign is just going to look at them and be like, this is just words. There's nothing behind it. There's no stable ground to stand on. There's nothing to get that vision rolling. They're not going to really understand how they're just talking about it like this. They're not going to understand the optimism because there's no stable ground. There's no practicality. There's no step-by-step list of how they're going to make that thing happen. All right, so here are some of the key takeaways that we can apply today. A Sun and Taurus person likes stability, it likes comfortability, it likes to react to things, it likes to have its step-by-step process and then add its direction to it. It likes to see the practical way that things can get done. This is because Taurus is the master builder. It builds stability, it builds comfortability, right? But the problem is that Taurus doesn't really like change. And this is because Taurus holds on to a lot of external things. It finds value in a lot of external things without seeing the fact that no matter what, it is the master builder. It lays down the groundwork. It lays down the foundation. So even if you're trapped in someone's external structure, during the running of the bulls, when you don't really have any direction, you have other people's external structure around you. When it comes to change, you need to have that energy, but the mentality of change, I don't care. No matter what happens, I can lay down my own groundwork. I can lay down my own stability. I make my own process. I make the plan, and I'm going to follow it through with my direction. That is what Taurus needs to focus on because it is the master builder. Change should not matter. Because let's face it, change is coming. Change is a part of life. You can slow it down, you can speed it up, but no matter what, change is coming. But anyways, thanks for following this solar system series, but I've talked enough. I need to go ground myself. I'll talk to you later. Peace.